Yo guys, welcome back to the Uncle Sharma channel. Lots of things to discuss. Not long left till Inter's debut in the Serie A against Fiorentina, and I will do a preview for that match on Saturday night. But before that, there's actually a transfer news that regards Inter and Fiorentina together, and that is relating to Milan Skriniar. The news came out today, Fabrizio Romano confirming and Di Marzio confirming that Tottenham Hotspur and Jose Mourinho in particular have made Milan Skriniar their number one target. Mourinho views him as the ideal replacement or addition, upgrade to their centre-back pairings. Toby Alderweireld was dropped for the last match for Spurs. The likes of Davinson Sanchez and with Tonga leaving in the summer, that position definitely needs strengthening. And he's looking at Milan Skriniar, unsurprisingly so. Probably 2 years ago, one of the best top 10 centre-backs in world football for me, especially that 17-18 season at first under Spalletti. He was absolutely beastly, a machine. Slight dip in the 18-19 season with Spalletti still very high levels. And then last year, obviously, we know, kind of a disappointing season by his standards. Not bad season, but just by his high standards, it was quite a disappointing season. It seemed like he didn't adapt to that three at the back formation, especially on the left centre-back position. For me, he just never looked comfortable, and as I said, he's not left-footed, and a right-footed player should never play that left centre-back on a three. It always should be someone that's left-footed, and that's why when Bastoni came there, things changed. Inter is said to be looking for at least 60 million euros or 55 million euros, as here the TalkSport are reporting. There's a tweet by Fabrizio Romano. Tottenham have opened talks for Skriniar. Ndombele is not involved anymore. At the beginning of the transfer window, there was rumours that Conte, Inter wanted to bring Ndombele in, and they were willing to look at maybe a swap with Skriniar, but that never happened. Price tag 60 million euros, as we said, but we know also, if you've watched the Tottenham documentary on Amazon, and in general if you follow English football, Daniel Levy is a big cheapskate. He's like the Lotito of English football. He does not like to spend money. He does not like to overspend. And I really don't see Tottenham reaching that 60 million valuation, and Inter should not sell a penny under 60 million. I mean, even 60 million now, okay, he's got 3 years left on his contract, and he had that dip last year. But, we're looking at the market price for centre-backs nowadays. Maguire going for 80 plus million, Van Dijk going for 75, Koulibaly is being valued at 70 million as well. Nathan Ake, a guy from a relegated Bournemouth team, went for 40 plus million to Man City. The prices these days are very, very inflated, and 60 million for Milan Skriniar is the right price. If you came a year ago, 2 years ago, we would have laughed in your face with 60 million. We would have asked for at least 70 or 80. And now 60 is a bit more realistic. Do I want to see this happen? No, not really. Skriniar has been one of my favourite players at the club since he's come in. The way he plays with the heart on his chest, the grinta. And not just that, technically he's a very good centre-back as well. For his Slovakian national team, sometimes he even plays in defensive mid position. He's one of those centre-backs that when he plays well, you really see him. He's one of those guys that really gets involved. He's not like De Vrij, who even when he's playing really well, you don't really see him, because that's how, he acts quite behind the scenes, with his movement, more his positioning, and little tackles here and there. Whereas Skriniar, he goes in, clatters people. He's a bit old school like that. He'll try the Hollywood pass as well. He'll try to run up as well. And it would be sad for me to see him leave, but to replace him, that would kind of soften the blow. The replacement is one of my favorite players in the Serie A. One of my favorite young players in the Serie A is the Serbian Nikola Milenkovic from Fiorentina. He has been identified as the number one target to replace Milan Skriniar if he does leave, and that makes me quite happy. On Twitter, I've been quite vocal a few times here and there that I've expressed I've expressed how much I like Milenkovic. He's one of those hybrid centre backs, because when he first came to Fiorentina, he played a lot as a right back position. Now he plays in a back three, right centre back, so he would slot in perfectly for Conte. He's also played in the centre at 4, but he seems to be, the right centre back in the 3 is perfect for him, because he's very size, he's quite mobile, he likes to get forward, he's comfortable on the ball. His man-to-man marking maybe can improve in positioning, but in a 3, it doesn't need to be at the same high level. Contract expires in 2022, and Fiorentina looking for 40 million euros for him. And so if we sell Skriniar for 60 and we get him for 40, there's that 20 million net kind of money there. Or we could probably sign him for a little bit cheaper as well. He's got only 2 years left on his contract. I know they don't really need to sell, but if the player pushes for the move, a loan with obligation, with option, that can always happen, around the 30-35 million mark. Milenkovic is younger than Skriniar. He's much better suited to the three at the back formation. But once again, the point comes to how long term are we thinking? Antonio Conte, how long is he actually going to be staying here? How long are we going to be actually playing the three at the back formation? That's a big decision that the directors need to make, because okay, I'm happy, I was okay with sacrificing the likes of Tonali to get a more experienced player like Vidal in, and we could bring that experience, that winning mentality straight away. But we can't do that all over the pitch. We can't just sacrifice everyone. Just because Skriniar hasn't adapted well to the three doesn't mean he's never going to. He had that 1 year of adaptation. Maybe this year he could do better. And what about when we go back to a four, when we bring in the likes of Allegri or someone else that plays for the four at the back, then we go back to square one. Milenkovic is not adept at the four at the back formation. Yes, we can probably adapt as well, but then we have to adapt him again, wait for him to get used to it again. And Skriniar himself, as looking outside of just the football, the fact that he fired his agent when it was time for renewal last year. His agent was causing some issues. It was rumored that he was asking for more fees for himself. He was asking for a higher wage for Skriniar as well, so that was stalling the deal. And Skriniar said, nah, none of this bullshit, I'm firing you. I'm going to Inter headquarters to negotiate the contract for himself. And he did. He signed a new contract a few days after firing his agent, which showed how much he wanted Inter, how much he didn't care about money and negotiations. He just wanted to be at Inter. A lot of people, including me, we shortlisted him as the future capitano, the future captain of the team, for his spirit, for his leadership skills, for how vocal he is, his passion, and moves like that, where he clearly he's a very interista. There's videos of him out there singing that song against Juve, Come Mai. There's videos of him going mad when Inter got into the Champions League, surrounded by fans. This guy, he seems like a true interista, so it would be sad to let someone like him go. But at the same time, we've not made any big sales really, apart from Icardi. All the players that left are on a free or very low transfer fees. We're struggling to get rid of other players. We've got that midfield issue, that we've got so many midfielders that we're struggling to get rid of. So if it does happen, I wouldn't be too sad. I really like Milenkovic as a player actually, but I don't want to see Skriniar leave. And if he does leave, as I said, not a penny under 60 million. Daniel Levy, pay what he's worth. I was having some conversation with some Spurs fans who think they can get him for like 40 million. Get out of here, man. You're not getting him for anything under the 60 million. But yeah, I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this. What do you think about Skriniar? You think like it's the right time to sell 60 million to bring Milenkovic in, or do you prefer someone else rather than Milenkovic, or do you want to keep Skriniar? Let me know in the comments below. Moving on to the next news, which is a lot more exciting and makes me happy, is Antonio Candreva looks like he's finally leaving the club. Yes, he was one of the most improved players last year, especially, we have to point that out, because the season before he was, the target of Inter fans. He was booed at the San Siro a few times. It looked like, there was no way back for him. But then when Antonio Conte came in, we know he's one of his favourites. And looks like now he's finally on his way out. He had a dip in the second half of last year after a strong start. But in the end of the season, he didn't have bad stats. He ended up with like 3 or 4 goals, 7 assists. So, not bad numbers. But Sampdoria apparently are trying to negotiate for him. They've agreed personal terms with the player. Apparently Candreva has accepted Sampdoria as a destination, under Claudio Ranieri. Not too bad. Nice city to live in, to finish your career in. 1.5 million a year. But the two clubs need to come to an agreement. I think Sampdoria are trying to see if they can get him on a free, like how Diego Godin is leaving as well on a free transfer, or we're paying him to leave the club. But we can't do that with everyone. With Godin, it makes sense because his wages are so high. So it's like, even if you pay him a little bit, you still get the benefits. But with Candreva, his wages are not so high. So Sampdoria, you're not that poor. Give us those 2 or 3 million that, we need to make sure we don't make a loss on him on the books. I believe 3 million, I'm guessing that's his value on the books. So I hope that can come to a conclusion, because then it means that we can go for Matteo Darmian. You guys know I've said my opinion on Matteo Darmian a few times on here. doesn't excite me as a incoming player, but seems like we've made some sort of weird promise to Parma or Darmian that he's going to come to Inter. Conte likes him, he's played under him in the Italian national team, and he's very versatile. I have to give him that. You can play him right centre back, left centre back, right wing, left wing. In the five. This guy is versatile. Maybe not very high quality. Definitely a downgrade compared to the likes of Godin, but he's similar to kind of D'Ambrosio. He'll put a shift in, but it won't be a world-class shift. Also rumors that Andrea Ranocchia is going to leave the club, but it seems like he's not too keen, unlike Candreva and Godin. I heard that Genoa were interested in him. He used to play for Genoa, and that's who we bought him from, but it seems like he wasn't convinced. But it seems like he is still on the market for Inter, and that what confirms it is the fact that Antonio Conte, according to this tweet from Nicolo Schira, says that Antonio Conte wants to keep Lorenzo Pirola off the market, so he wants to keep him in the team. Pirola is a 2002 born centre back. You might have seen him here and there, but I think he literally made like 1 or 2 appearances, only for a few minutes. You might have seen him in pre-season. He's quite big for his age. He looks a bit older than he is, but he's an interesting talent that actually Conte mentioned by name a few times. Conte doesn't really usually take his time out of the day, to mention any young players. As we know, he's not the biggest fan of young players, but Pirola, he mentioned him a few times last season. I remember him mentioning him, so clearly he rates him as a talent. And if Ranocchia leaves, there's that gap in the center of defense that other defenders can obviously cover, like Skriniar, Bastoni, but it could mean more space for the likes of Pirola. And I'm happy about that. I feel like we should give, if we have some outstanding talents in the Primavera, we should give them a chance over, these players that we've given thousands of chances to and just don't live up to the billing. So I'm happy about that. But yeah, let's see what happens in the next few days. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on all these moves. Just to finish off the video, I wanted to have a look at the Intermedia House video for Arturo Vidal, the announcement video. Obviously showing the big mohawk. We have some music from the Black Eyed Peas. Apparently it was an exclusive, they let us use the music. I guess the mohawk represents the shark. Again, more mohawk action going on with the mountain waves, I guess, yeah, because it's wavy. Yeah, honestly, I'm kind of disappointed with this video. That's the end of the video, and it just ends with about 30 seconds of just Intermedia House there. Quite a disappointing video compared to the others. I was expecting some sort of concept around him being a king, or even similar to how Tottenham Hotspur did the Matt Doherty announcer, where they got him to delete those tweets that when he was used to support Arsenal. And there's some tweets out there of Arturo Vidal saying Forza Juve even after he wasn't at Juve, so that would have been kind of funny and tongue-in-cheek. But they went with this kind of concept, and I'm not too happy with it, but it's okay. Can't get 100% hit rate. Intermedia House do have a very good hit rate with their videos, so they're human, they can miss sometimes. But yeah, not a great video. Probably give it like a 6 out of 10. Not one of their best ones, but yeah, that was it for today. Let me know your comments below, you guys, in terms of the Skriniar deal. I have mixed feelings about it, but let me know your thoughts. Candreva, yes, big thumbs up to that. Sampdoria pay up the 2 or 3 million that needs to be done. Pirola staying, yes. Ranocchia leaving, yes. Darmian coming in. But yeah, let me know in the comments below. I'll see you for the preview of the Fiorentina match, and take care. Ciao.